Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing today? God bless you. Look at this video.
Greetings, friends. God bless you. My name is Apostle Cedric, and I'm taking the risk to do this video. It's high time I speak about this because it's getting out of hand.
So stop hosting these merchants.
Hello. I want to plead that you watch this video till the end. If you don't watch till the end, you will misunderstand what I am talking about in this video. Thank you and God bless you. All right, before we delve into the video proper, the beginning of the video, the introduction of the video probably may not have explained enough, but I will take you on as we travel in the video. One of the first person you heard there was the voice of a pastor who was lamenting how a guest minister closed down, destroyed his ministry that he built for 5 years, and somebody came within 5 hours, rendered them. You want to know how? Then the counsel of Bishop David Oyedepo said it has to do with guest minister. Now, from the outside, you may think it has nothing to do with you as non-pastor, but you may want to listen and understand how it has everything to do with everybody, as long as you have interest in church. I know so many of us don't have one church that we attend several churches a lot, and there are individuals also that don't attend any church at all. But in case you want to find out, please tag along with us and let God bless. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the End Time Truth Television channel. We urge you to subscribe to the channel, activate the bell icon by selecting all, so that the next time we upload a new video, you will be among the first persons to be notified by Google. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then, Shalom.
Greetings, friends. God bless you. My name is Apostle Cedric, and I'm taking the risk to do this video. It's high time I speak about this because it's getting out of hand. Someone broke my ministry. Someone broke God's church that was put in my care many years ago, 2016. Until today, my reputation in that location has been stained. I hosted someone and everything changed for me. I'm a young man. I was a young man by then, also struggling in ministry, and things were so difficult. We're at the transition of our ministry, and I met this father. I wanted him to preach in our church and be a blessing to us. And then this father recommended for me a son, which I later found out that this son of his was a new son, as he claims, and he had not proven this son. Is painful, but I speak with not anger. I'm not angry at all, but I speak with so much sorrow, because many churches have broken because a guest speaker visited. Many churches didn't remain the same. Many churches crashed because of one man's visit. You see, when the devil entered the garden, nothing remained the same about humanity. I will not call names for privacy, but this man said this his son should come and preach for us, that he will help the church and build the church. He scattered the things I built. Till today, there are people who see me as fake, because they are asking themselves, if this man is genuine, then how come he brought this man to the church? This man broke in 5 days what took us 5 years to build. If you're a pastor who has had such a guest speaker, you understand the pain of bringing people who don't care about the body of Christ into your work. It's so painful when you bring a hireling into your ministry. I brought this man to help the church, and he broke what was already hanging on one leg. We left from 100 and something members, and I say this with proof. We went down. At one point, I was alone in church. I lost people because this guy came, tried to sleep with some people in church, what has never been heard of in my whole ministry journey. There's nobody who has ever hosted me, home and abroad, that has had a problem with me, that I had a woman problem. I was sleeping with ladies. It has never happened before. Nobody in our church will come and say he slept with me. Never happened before. But this man brought that strange spirit and attempted sleeping with some people in the church. Said that it's too raw, so I won't say it. What he did, and they have a cartel. Stronger than recommendation is revelation. No matter who recommends someone to you, I believe in recommendation. I've been recommended before, but no matter who recommends someone to you, you make sure you have an inner witness. Make sure the Lord confirms in your spirit to bring that person else. That may be your biggest mistake as a host. There are 5 people you must never host, no matter the conspiracy. 5 of them. Number 1.
Now, before I will allow him to give you the 5 kinds of persons that you must not host, I would want to say this, that one of the problems why it is easier for guest ministers to destroy a ministry that was already in place actually depends on what kind of relationship the host pastor sought to build with the guest minister or has already built with the guest minister. Now, for instance, you cannot be a host and you don't agree with what the guest minister was giving to your people on the pulpit, maybe as a message, or the kind of dangerous seed that he is calling and raising, because that is almost all of the time. Some pastors, majority of the pastors that call guest ministers, call them from outside to raise money for them. And before the pastor goes onto the pulpit, he has already had an idea of what the host wanted from him. That is one. I'm not saying that also is applicable to the case of this young man here. But take, for instance, a guest minister that will call a pastor and tell him, collect money from this, my people, they are very stingy, get money from them. Things like that.
Challenges of the prophetic movement is an integrity issue. I've heard all kinds of stories. There are very powerful prophets in this country, good ones, but like everything, some bad nuts do come. It was a case of one who saw something on social media and went to the church to prophesy. He said, today God will move, will see things. Called the name of the person, gave the word. The church was quiet. The person was talking about her died 3 months. Today, pastors are having babies outside. I've dealt with some. The biggest challenge of ministry today is social media. Is the new frontier. There is a new movement in America, deliverance for pastors from pornography. Pastors pastoring pastors. Pastors who have been caught in pornography. So there are pastors who go out to deliver them. He comes to church Sunday morning with his eyes dark. He said, hey, Pastor Bompayo, I was traveling on the Buri Road and I saw that they were selling sex toys. Yes. By the road, and the white people were fighting to buy. So a lot of foreigners. These were things we didn't see before. I'm showing you the society outside the door, how it has changed. Pastor, I know long ago, this is about 10 years ago, he came and told me that something was worrying him. What was the problem? He was inspecting the daughter's bag and saw a sex toy, a vibrator. Some of you don't know what that is. Thank God. I'll leave you where you are. You will grow and know. The girl, single girl, came from uni and opened the bag and saw a vibrator, electric husband. Things are changing out there. And if you know the truth, cyber sex is a big issue. We're talking about integrity. The line is very thin, far from the days of John Wesley. Now we have what we call emotional infidelity. Things that you see on the net. Gambling. Believers are into it big time, including pastors, to support their salary. So now the conclusion to all this is that the Bible is no more the moral absolute. Whereas in the past, we taught abstinence. Now they are teaching safe sex. The two are not the same. In our day, it was abstinence. Cafe, no ifs and buts. But the goalposts are shifted. Now they say safe sex. How do we do it? Am I helping you? That's the purpose of education. Ignorance is not a virtue. A guy came to my office. Oh, handsome. Every girl's dream boy. 6 packs, manicured beard. The mustache. Oh, goodness. Even a man will be jealous. They ask him, what do you do? He said, it's a sperm donor. Can you give me a little education? He said, oh yeah. He said, I eat, and I feel good, I press herbs, and at the end of the month, I sell sperm. I said, are you in Ghana? Yes, I said, of course. I'm sure half of the children will see in Accra are your children. That's where we are. We're talking about integrity in ministry. Now, many of the girls who are 30, 40, and have no babies, and cannot find, they go and have the baby and come back. Where is the father? He's in Canada. They are never in Togo. The father is in America. They never come. So now when I was in Adenta, I made a new law. The new baby, we don't have a problem. But if the father is not in church, we won't do the dedication. We'll dedicate the baby inside my office for the sake of the baby. We don't have a problem. But in church, husband and wife should be there.
Now, it is always discussed at the background. Now, so a greedy host would want to tell the guest minister what he wants. That is one. And secondly, when this host comes to introduce the guest minister, if the first one is not it. Now, when the host comes to introduce the guest minister, that is the kind of words, there are kinds of words that they use to sell the guest minister to the congregation. And at some point in time, they don't know that by doing so, they are actually bringing the heart of the members and both the newcomers, attaching to the guest minister. Now, at the end of the meetings, you will see these same people lined up to want to see the guest minister, automatically ignoring the host pastor. Now, but because you have built in their heart a form of an idol, kind of a cult hero in their heart. Now, it gets to that point where the guest minister may begin to book appointments with the girls, the ladies in it, because when they are desperate, they are willing and ready to do anything. Now, you've already sold them that this is close to Jesus. In fact, the next Jesus, if you listen to him, heaven will fall down. Everything he asks you to do. The people will no longer cross-check with the Bible. And just because their daddy in the Lord introduced this man, Haba, what are we saying? All right. So sometimes it is the introduction. And I'm saying this now, having at heart those that are not pastor, but you may have experienced this. Now, because when they came, you, in a way, have more regard for them. I wouldn't say more than your regular pastor who is the host. But there is this kind of thing that is in you bubbling. Your faith is prepped up. So if the person asks you to go and sell your car, you will sell because they have prepped your emotions up. And so they come with all kinds of stories. They tell testimonies, the kind of stories that they will tell. They will tell stories that nobody will be there to prove. Not that they came with any form of proof to show that this is true. You understand? Now that is where the problem is. And Bishop Oyedepo gave this counsel to pastors. And if you have a listening ear, also you follow.
If you are a pastor, your church will never grow by guest ministers. So why waste your life? There is no standing church that grew by the input of ministers, guest ministers. No. We only share fellowship one with another. Your special guest in the restaurant does not promote your sales. It is the quality of what you supply that does. So stop hosting these merchants. You are adding to their sales. Stop hosting them. Don't come and make demand on what? Demand on what? If in a year we had 50,000 people saved in our church, 45,000 of them came through my preaching. So what is the problem? Yonggi Cho stood on that pulpit for years, unshaken. Built that strong word, impactful church by investing his life in the assignment. If you don't stop them, they will keep polluting the field. So stop inviting them. It's not scriptural.
Well, I will let you listen to counsel of the man who had the problem and the kind of ministers you must not host. So if this kind of pastors must not be hosted, then you as a person must not go after. I told a beloved sister, said, you don't need these things. You don't need to do all these things. Let me just stop it here. In case you have watched anybody online or maybe offline and you are so moved by the kind of power of God that this person exhibits, you had better be very, very careful before you fall into the trap that this pastor fell into, before they help you to destroy what you have built overnight. Don't trust just any man. When the Apostle Paul said to Timothy, don't lay hand on anybody suddenly. Not really, because see some people in translating that describe to be the laying on of hand, the normal laying on of hand. No. Don't just see anybody you just get used to that person and you just want to make use of the person. Don't do that. You must test every spirit. You must be very, very careful. But the thing is that desperation drives us into terrible mistake. God bless you. I will see you in the next video. Till then, let me know what you think about this. From me to you, shalom.
There are 5 people you must never host, no matter the desperacy. 5 of them. Number 1, never host a man who God has left. There are signs to know who God has left. One way to know who God has left, the glory on past achievements. I was this, I used to be that, I was that. There's nothing notable about their present day experiences. They will keep telling people about, hey, I opened blind eye 10 years ago. Oh, I did this. I used to fast and pray. This is it. But there's no testimony today of their fasting and prayer life. You bring them, you host them, and they make noise. I mean, they watch TV all through, just stay in the hotel you lodge them in. You never hear them pray, and all they say is past testimonies. After all they will say, nothing will happen on ground. I went to that place, that happened. I went there, that happened. If nothing happens here, all what you just said is called past glory. The problem with Jonathan is that he knew that God has departed from Saul, yet he followed Saul to battle. he didn't see the next day. How can Abel be aware that God has rejected Cain and he still follows Cain for a private discussion? There are men who God has left. There are signs when the fruit of righteousness no longer dwell in certain pastors. Please, God has left them. When a man is comfortable sleeping with everybody, when a man is comfortable committing abortions for ladies, when a man is comfortable stealing from members, taking money from them, duping other churches, when a man is comfortable destroying other churches, how can you host a church destroyer to build a church? Avoid them. Number 2, never host a pastor without a pastor. I know you would say, well, not everybody is supposed to have a pastor. That's a very big lie. Every pastor needs a pastor. Every pastor needs a pastor. Pastor Jesus passed through John the Baptist. Apostle Paul, his eyes were opened by Ananias. Any man who you don't have a track history of those that molded them, avoid them. He that is not molded can't mold anything. An unbuilt man can't build anything. Avoid vagabond guest speakers, vagabond guest artists. They don't have a home church where they serve. Don't bring them to your ministry, because when they are singing, they are releasing spirits to your choir. Your choir also will wake up one day, get anointed, and begin to move aimlessly. I understand about kingdom and church. I believe based on scripture. Jesus says, I was with you daily in the temple. Jesus had a move outside the temple, yet he also was within the temple. Very important. Anyone without a pastor can mess you up and you can't report them to anybody. If your guest speaker makes a mistake in your church, who can you report him to? Do you know his spiritual father? I'm not here to say if he has no spiritual father, don't host him. That's his personal business. He may not have a spiritual father, but does he have a pastor? Who leads him? Who advises him? Who does he listen to? Who can you get to in case he makes a mistake? If you don't have an accountability system, avoid hosting such people. People that listen to nobody will not listen to God. The next kind of pastor you should never host, or artists you should never host, they are young men that come to churches and they start sleeping with post members because the ladies don't have sense and the guy does not have sense. You left ministering to carry girlfriends from somebody's church and some even get to sleep with them. You must look for men that have pure fire, men that have a reputation. So sometimes before you host somebody, go back and ask the last person that hosted him, the last person that hosted her, what was their experience? Check the last 3 hosts. It's very important. In fact, when you go to apply for a job, they check your resume, your work experience. Why did you leave your last job? The next thing, don't host a man who has built nothing. Those who have never built anything will not know how to appreciate the work of a man that built something. I don't just mean about a church, okay? We have physical buildings, we have building men. A man who has never built any man, the man you are hosting, who has he raised? Any man who has raised nothing will erase your work. You see, when a pastor has built a church, raised a people, I'm not about physical, don't get me wrong, I don't mean physical buildings per se. That has a place also. When a pastor has built a church, raised people from nothing to something, he will understand what it means to lose one member. He will not make careless statements on the altar. But pastors, guest artists who have never organized a concert that was successful, how will they even appreciate the altar you have given them? There's nobody that they have raised. Please, don't host them. Anybody whose seed is not potent cannot bring life to your ministry. Can a non-church planter teach in your congregation? Yes they can, but they must have built something. Maybe they have built a successful business, maybe they have built a successful marriage, maybe they have built a successful career, but make sure they have built something, because he that has nothing to lose will make you lose everything. Number 4 kind of pastor you should never host. Run from them. Don't host a baby pastor, a person that talks more about himself than about Jesus. A baby pastor will not do altar call. They won't win souls. They will win argument, not souls. A baby pastor doesn't have maturity to handle crisis. Don't host a baby pastor. Next thing, don't host a man or woman doing ministry for money or for financial gain. Anyone doing ministry for financial gain, run from them. When you ask them to preach for you and the first thing they mention is how much you will give them, please, it's a red light. Run from them. Don't host fame. Host a man that can frame the work God has given you. Don't host title. Host a man that God is tied to. Host a man who can help the assignment. Sometimes the best of food is not found in the expensive restaurants, but sometimes we ignore the cheap restaurants that offer good food because we want aesthetics. There are people that may not be popular, may not be known, but they carry the fire, they carry the structure, they carry the template your ministry may need. Sometimes you spend millions, you spend serious money to host somebody who may not even deliver. And there's somebody at your side who may carry the word that church may need, but you ignore them. The woman ignored the oil in her house and she went outside to get oil. Is that correct? What happened to her? They sent her back to the house where there was oil. There is oil around you. A church can close down because of a guest that they brought. I pray for everyone. You'll be free from wicked guest speakers. God will set you free from wicked people who come for their own gain. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. God bless you.